Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well and I hope you're safe and healthy wherever you are. Today, I want to talk about what we called the law of attraction, but I mainly want to talk about the power of visualization, let's put it this way, visualization and having faith and trust. And by visualizing, really can't say that word, visualizing, that's the right word, visualizing things in the future and believe it's going to happen and believe it already happened uh, is very powerful. So I'm going to try to give a couple of examples, and whether you believe in it or not, that's up to you. It's actually, I found it very difficult to really put in place. It takes a lot of not self-confidence, but you really have to have a big faith and big trust in the future. I think there's a quote or something that says that you gotta believe in things that haven't happened yet. I think it's pretty much what it is about. So, when you want things to happen in your life, you if you really want to attract them, you can think of them. Really, what you want to do, you put really strong intention that you really want that in your life, but you just can't sit and wait for that to happen. You actually you have to feel as if it already happened and to trust that it's gonna happen. I don't know if that's really clear the way I explain, but you have to be grateful for what you have, but you should not just expect something to happen. You have to feel abundant as if it already happened, as if you don't need any extra things in your life. If you just sit and wait and think, oh, I really want that to happen, no, it's just not going to happen. You have to really feel the feeling of happiness. Let's say, for example, you really want to be, I don't know, you have a job in mind that you really want to be working in that job. So you have, and right now maybe your conditions are not great, you're not really in a job that you want. So you have to imagine what you would feel if you have that job. Like, what would you do, where it will be, what kind of company, what kind of position, what kind of responsibilities, and what it makes you feel. Maybe you feel happy, you feel abundant, you feel great. And so you have to think about it and sort of release the intention out into the universe. I like to call it the universe, right? Because we all come from different background and have different belief and religion as well. So just not to upset anybody. And and then you have to feel as if it's already happened. So right now maybe you're not in a great position, but you have trust, right? You trust your capabilities that it can happen. So when you walk in the streets, I think it's important to feel as if you are already that person, right? Because that's who you really want to be, and maybe you have the capability to become that person. So if you already think it happened to you, it's going to fill you with joy, with a sense of accomplishment. And I have done it many times, actually over the last few months, more than anything. For example, when I was looking for an apartment, I just couldn't really put my head into it. I wasn't well, so I couldn't focus. But then I wanted to, it was the last minute and I really, really had to move out of my previous flat. And I just couldn't put my mind into it. And for some reason, I just wanted to trust that an apartment was suddenly gonna pop up on my screen, or that I was gonna find a place where I'm gonna be okay. And I remember on that day being on my computer, and I was so stressed. I had maybe a month and a half to really try to find another place, but I really couldn't. I was mentally unwell. I just couldn't believe I had to move. But one day I woke up and I was like, I know that the universe or God is going to help me. And I know I'm going to be in a place where I'm going to be okay, because I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. And if I'm there, I know I'm not alone. So I remember looking for apartment, and I don't even remember how I did that, but I just ended on a website and I saw something and I was like, I'm just gonna go for it. But actually, I knew I was gonna be led to the place I was supposed to be. So I had really strong faith in that. And after that, I walked around my neighborhood, and I remember, so I'm quite, I have a strong faith, so you do it the way you want. But I was around my area and I was, praying. I was like, please God, just help me. I know you are going to put me in a place where I'm supposed to be. I know you are going to help me and it's going to be okay. And it was almost like a brainwashing thing. And it has to be maybe at the beginning a little bit of a fake it till you make it. And so I walked around my neighborhood and I had this call. And the call was, to tell me that I was able to to have the room I applied for. And that time on that day I actually really needed to move in almost the same day. I had not seen the apartment. I had no idea where it was in Tokyo almost. And I just I really needed to move in on that day because I had so many things and I had a really tight deadline. And so, deep in my heart, I knew that if I was thinking that it's going to be okay, that I would be able to move on the same day, even though I had the answer on the same day. I knew if I believed in it, it was going to happen. So I put all my intention, like within me. And when I had the person on the phone and I said, listen, I'm in a really difficult situation. I really need to move in as soon as possible. And I explained a little bit in detail what was happening to me and the reason why I needed that room on the same day. And, I hanged up the phone. The person said they were going to check. I hanged up the phone. I went to, yeah, at that time I was like chanting Buddhist songs that friend recommended me, and I was just like mixing different things to help myself and trying to have a sense of trust that everything was going to be okay. And so I walked around my neighborhood and I was listening to that song and I was chanting at the same time, and I was trying to visualize that I'm gonna get that call and the person was gonna tell me that I was gonna be able to move in and get the keys on that day. And so I walked around my area, and maybe half an hour after I got the call, and the person said that I was able to move into the apartment, into the room, on the same day. And maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe for some of you it is a coincidence, but I really felt that that it was because I had the intention and I had manifested it, that it happened. And I just had trust. And again, it's having trust or believing in things that haven't happened yet. Because when you start thinking about it, you kind of release some sort of energy, and for some reason it comes back to you. I really feel that. Also, over the last few months I was manifesting different things in terms of job. For example, I really wanted to start doing coaching, for example, and I just imagine myself, and I think because this is truly what I really want to do and that's my passion, I imagine myself sitting at a table with someone, doing a coaching session, and I imagine how it felt. I imagine all the things I wanted to give to my client, all the advice, not advice, but all the suggestions I wanted to make. I wanted to imagine people telling me about their lives, about their jobs. And I imagine it really strongly. And when I walked in the street, even though I was not earning a lot of money, even though I was not doing that thing yet, I knew that's really strongly what I wanted to do. And I just, of course I worked for it. I, updated my website. I started to write articles. I just, you gotta believe that things are gonna happen. And I contacted people, and then people started to come to me, and I started to have those sort of coaching session. And that I remember on that day when that person paid me in cash and they gave me the money for the coaching session that we did. I felt, oh my God, it happened exactly the way I imagined it, and I felt exactly the way I thought I would feel. So I think this is really, it's really, really powerful. And I think that every day that we live, we have to try to feel abundant. It's not really about, wanting more. It's about those goals and dreams that we have inside us. And when we really want to reach them, like Les Brown said, my favorite motivational speaker, he said, you gotta be hungry, right? It means you gotta really want it. And I wrote an article about it. And I think if you really want it, there's a strong will within you, and then there's this beautiful energy that you put out there. I also talk about raising your vibration. That means that, if you're feeling really down, and that's not your fault, it happens to all of us. It's so hard to attract good things. But in those moments, it's actually about almost thinking that you are okay. In the past few months, I almost had to stop myself from feeling so down, and to try to reach a certain level where I was like, okay, it's gonna be fine, and like I'm gonna be okay, and I'm gonna be okay because I love life, because I want things to happen in my life, because I'm a dreamer, because I have dreams, because I had stars in my eyes, and I'm going to put back those little stars, and I'm going to make things happen because I deserve it. We also have to feel that we deserve things, for things to happen in our life. If we start looking at the past and regretting, and we're just not going to move forward. In another video, I would like to talk about how you can change your mind as well, but that would be for another video, like how you can reprogram your brain. But what I want you to remember from this video is that if you imagine things, if you have this trust, things will come to you. Really, like even from the most desperate situation, you will be able to attract, maybe not exactly what you want. It's like this quote that says, shoot for the moon and you will land among the stars. Something like that, right? Again, I really love those kind of cheesy quotes, but I think it's very important to keep that in mind. So remember, it's about feeling grateful and thankful for what you have, and it's about visualizing what you want and feeling as if it's already happened. I think, or I remember watching a video about Jim Carrey. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing his name properly, but the actor, the Hollywood actor, when he was trying to become an actor, and I think he was really broke. He was, I think, imagining that he was acting, and that he was receiving $1 million check. But he was not just imagining it. He was actually writing the checks, like a fake checks, and he was giving it to himself. And he was truly believing that he was acting and receiving that check of $1 million. And one day, it actually happened. I think for people who dream, people who are dreamers, you are not just a stupid dreamer. The fact that you are a dreamer, this energy can really drive you to what you really want. Never lose that. People might think you have stupid dreams, but I believe that you were born with a certain talent, and the reason why you have this dream, and that's just your own dream, it's different from other people, it's because you have the opportunity, you have the talent to do it, right? You were born to do that dream. That's why you have it inside you. So don't lose hope, and focus your energy, and be careful of people around you. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe that it's possible to achieve those dreams. Right, that was a really fast video. I think it's really, no, it's not really short. It's actually 14 minutes.